if I want it. Gotta make to myself a promise. I won't quit, keep going till I got it. I won't give up till I'm on top. Yo, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, then I do it till I get what I want. I turn a business out of
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Legendary Sports Podcast, Fantasy Football Edition.
What up?
I'm Jared Michelson.
And I'm Antoine Beeks.
Yo, today we got some news, actual news, man. We got some recap too.
Put the breaking on the bottom of the screen.
Man. I know, man. I'm going to have to put the breaking news banner out here. Man, we got talk to me. You brought this to me, man. You were more insider than me, Adam Schefter over here, man. You got the inside scoop. Talk to me.
Yeah, I seen earlier, man. Dalvin Cook signs a 1-year deal with the Jets, and my boy Zeke Elliott, man. I was talking about Zeke, and you didn't think that Zeke was going to end anywhere. And Zeke ended up on your New England Patriots with your boy Ramondre Stevenson.
I know, that scares me with Ramondre.
And listen, though, I'm a big Ramondre fan. I really am. I handcuffed him and Damian Harris last year, just because. But the year before that, Damian Harris got hurt. Ramondre kind of took over, and he was a stud. I thought last year was his year that he was going to take over. Him and Harris kind of played it back and forth a little bit, with him kind of getting more of the snaps toward the end of the season. Yep. Then this year, they let Damian Harris go. Damian Harris is now in Buffalo. Ramondre is the guy until they bring in Zeke. What do you think that Zeke news does for Ramondre?
I knew you were going to ask me, man. And right now I'm just trying to heal from my wounds a little bit. Somebody in my mock drafts, I go for Ramondre. Now I got bumped him down to I got bumped that man down to bottom of the third, maybe into the fourth round. I mean, he's going to get the bulk of the work, but that cutting is going to be there because the same thing with Damian Harris and Ramondre before. That work was shared out, man. And I know it's going to be, even if it's taking 7-8 touches, it's too many. That's not a second round pick. That's barely a third. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because those seven carries take him from, 15 to 21 carries a game now to,
he's gonna get at least a minimum 13.
Yeah.
But
that's what I meant. I'm sorry. I worded that wrong. It takes him from 21, 22 carries down to about 15 to 14 carries a game is what I meant. I'm sorry. I worded that wrong.
You're good. Still a killer, though, for a second round value. That's not what you're looking for. So he's got to go.
What do you think? I think Zeke is more of a power guy down there towards the goal line.
Yeah, but Ramondre's a power guy, too. He's a pretty beastly back, so that's why
he is.
I think they want to use Zeke because Zeke's already got the treads tired. Like throw him down, let him go on some of the, I won't say in the early downs, but let him go between the tackles. So let him take some beats. He's already taking some hits. What are you losing there? You're not losing much.
Touches. You're losing touches and possible big plays, man. Some work comes from
I think Zeke's gonna be the guy
trenches.
to get him, like the 3-4 yard plays that you allow your player to get banged up on type of plays. I don't think he's going to be the guy that's over Zeke's going to go for a 45-yard run. No, that's not anymore.
I bet you Zeke get a 45-yard run.
I don't know. Okay. Well, yeah, he could probably get a 45-yard run on the best blocking in the world. On a great play that
man. I've never met someone. Someone who hated Zeke so much, man.
Zeke, man.
And the crazy thing is, I don't like the Cowboys. I've never been a big fan of Zeke, but I understand his work, man. And
I understand the work that he was able to do at one point when he was healthy. I don't know what Zeke I'm going to get. If I'm going on recency bias, the Zeke that I saw before ain't going for 45. He ain't going for 45. He ain't going for 45.
Hey, he's going for a 45-yard run. Hey, check this, though. I think we see a Jamal Williams, Detroit Lions type situation here.
Yeah. So if the offense is powerful enough, so I even had some shift on the Detroit Lions situation the new situation with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, right? If there's enough running work, they could both be effective. If this ploy, and part of me makes me think now that I'm thinking about it, is this ploy is to keep the ball out of Mac Jones' hands. If anybody's gonna lose touches, It's going to be Mac Jones is going to be losing touches, and it's going to be more of a running scheme between the running backs. So,
yeah, and you know what, though? That's 21, 22 carry split between them both a game, where Ramondre is at 15,
they probably just
Zeke's at 7, and then you still get about 20 to 25 passes from Mac Jones.
I think they only want like 10 passes.
No,
Mac Jones.
no.
I think they're trying to take down Mac Jones.
I think Bill Belichick is smarter than that, and I think that they know that you can't win games like that.
He was questionable with them all last year. He switched between him and Bailey Zappi. He didn't have much faith in him.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick doesn't throw in rookies for anything, and he threw in Bailey Zappi, so there's something to be said about that.
Hey, you know what? You're absolutely right. But if we're staying on topic here about fantasy sports,
that's right.
Stay away from Mac Jones.
Yeah, I know. Stay away from
Don't draft Mac Jones as a quarterback. Let's just say
QB
that.
leagues, he's gonna be the one your benches use for bye week filler at this point. Like, he's not even worth your second QB, man. Like, I'm sorry to say it. 2 QB leagues.
Yeah, I don't think he's worth it either. Especially, I mean,
and they tried to help him out and give him some weapons. Don't get me wrong. Like they did, bring Juju in, but Juju's, even he says, "Hey man, I'm not the young guy anymore." You know what I'm saying? Like,
Juju was never the young guy. What's wrong with him?
Yeah. So then let's go to the other guy then that we're talking about. Someone who does, I think, has some juice and can make a 45-yard run that shows some value.
Oh man, you want to talk about Dalvin Cook?
I do.
So I like the Dalvin Cook move, and here's why. It means that they don't rush
people back. Right?
Not people.
Like Breece Hall and their players.
They don't rush Breece Hall.
Mm-hmm.
And with them not rushing Breece Hall, it gives him the opportunity, which I think J.K. Dobbins didn't have, and which now I'm thinking J.K. Dobbins is going to be a 7th to 8th round running back, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you don't know with him. He's been on and off hurt for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
When healthy, very good running back. But with the running room that they have, especially with Lamar Jackson being able to give you anywhere from 50 to 100 yards rushing a game, right? And then you got Gus Edwards there, who's very solid. And then Justice Hill. And you got him as well, who's very serviceable as a backup running back to J.K. Dobbins or Gus Edwards, who I think at this moment Gus Edwards is going to be getting the bulk of the load right now, man. But to bring it all the way back, I like it because it doesn't make them rush Breece Hall back, which is very sad for Michael Carter because
that bounced him way down. So
yeah, and you know what? I like Michael Carter. He was
Zonovan Knight though. Zonovan Knight was pretty good.
Yeah. Zonovan Knight and Michael Carter was really good. Now they're gonna be battling it out for
third string.
I think at this moment, second, right? Because I don't think they bring.
I guess I still look at Breece Hall as a guy there, but you're right. As far as active people who can actually play, you're right. Yep, you're right. He's gonna be battling for second and third. So yep.
I don't think Breece Hall. I honestly think that with the way that offense can move the ball, bringing in Aaron Rodgers, bringing in Dalvin Cook, I think they don't rush Breece Hall back and they wait till about week 7.
Yeah, I think that's the way to do it. Is don't bring him back before they're ready. I do like the move of Dalvin going there. Also, they're trying to bring a win now situation to the New York Jets, which Dalvin Cook can do that. He's already done everything that he's ever needed in the NFL. So he can pass block. He's a good route runner as far as out of the backfield. He can catch the passes, and he can just run up the middle or hit the outside. And he's still fast, like you said. Though there is some injury stuff with Dalvin, but if he stays healthy for a season,
where do you?
I think it's great.
Where do you rank him amongst backs now that he has a job? Do you think he walks in and beats out Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight?
I'm gonna say round 6 for now, but that's due to Klein giving more time in the offense as the preseason rolls through. So, but I think round 6, maybe round 7, is a good spot for Dalvin at this point. So,
second question: do you think he beats out Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight right out?
I don't think they bring a guy like him in to sit around, right? somebody who's still only 28, like, or 27, I think. So he's not out of his prime yet. Like, they keep moving these running backs way down, like what their prime years keeps being. You know what I'm saying? So I still think he's in a good spot for his career to go and help Aaron Rodgers and take the Jets to another level on the offensive side of things. So, but as far as that goes, still 6th, 7th round pick, still, but it could be. I mean, the value you get out of that, he could be a 3rd rounder by the end of the season. Shoot, and value. So,
Yeah, that's true. But then what happens when not Michael Carter, but when Brees Hall comes back? How do you feel about that? Do you think his value drops at all? Do you think his production drops at all?
I think it's gonna be a slow roll. I think you'll get depending. Say they do the Brees Hall, hold him out till week 6 or 7. I think it'll take another 2 weeks after that for him to really get like a feel. So they won't like give him a ton of work right away. It'll be like maybe 7 to 9 carries to ease him back in, let him get a feel, let him do some stuff for those 2 games that he is back. So you'll still get some more work out of Dalvin that'll drop him, but you'll still get pretty serviceable for that week, right? He can probably make 15 touches, maybe 100 total yards and maybe a score. I think that's doable for those 2 after games. But then after that, after they start working it, I think it's going to go to more of a 50-50. Truth be told, I think it's going to be pretty even. So does it drop value for Pierce or for Hall? Yes, absolutely. It absolutely drops. And then for Dalvin, he's just kind of going to be that same. If it is split by the end of the season, it's going to stay that same 6th, 7th round pick, which is okay. Well, there you go. That's what you got out of him, right?
So where are you taking Brees Hall?
Man, I'm push. For me, I'm gonna be aggressive about this push down. I'm gonna take it as like 6 or 7 too. Somewhere.
So you
in there.
taking them both in a 6 or 7?
Yeah, it's gotta push him down. I mean, Brees Hall's going what in the 3rd?
Dude, I'm wavering Brees Hall. Waiver wires. I'm getting him out free agents, man. I don't think that. I mean,
I think the offense will be high powered enough to be enough scoring position where they can at least plot for touchdowns. That's why. I still think there's opportunity for scoring. When you have Aaron Rodgers out there, you're going to be in scoring position. You might not be the big yard players. That sucks. That does. But you will be in scoring position. It'll be a Jamal Williams situation where it's like you just need him to fall in the end zone once or twice a game or it gets you like 60 yards and just call it a win. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. So, with that being said, I agree. I'm happy Zeke got a job. I was preaching Zeke. He got a job. You don't feel it, right?
I'm fine with him going to the Patriots as long as that's where he belongs. you stay over there, bro. That's fine.
I think he does good. But let's move over to some preseason.
Nah,
action,
I think
man.
Zeke will be good. I think he'll help out that backfield. Look, I give Zeke a lot of crap, but he was very talented for a very long time. So I'm just as on the recency bias. It was not his time in the last season for Dallas. That's all.
Well, let's move over to some
preseason talk, man. Yeah, we got some.
Man. How do you feel? For
great.
You feel great?
I was just saying a general statement of great.
Great.
Yeah.
Man, I was thrilled to see Trey Lance back out there, man.
Yeah.
After injury, he looked pretty decent, right?
Yeah, 10 of 15, not bad. He had a little bit of a shaky start, but the thing is, he got away with some awful throws, man. He threw some to the DBs that should have been picked, but if DBs weren't just the most alligator of hands, like they would have been picked up. You got saved by the DB alligator.
So how do you feel about after watching him go 10 for 15, 112 yards, 1 TD? How do you feel?
I think he recovered okay though. I think it shows that he's a little rusty. Yeah, he's gonna take some time to grow in and get connected with the players and everything like because he also wasn't running with the best on the roster, right? So he's still battling with the seconds. But I think it shows that he can that he's on the uptrend, I think. And I think that he'll be if they decide to go with him over Brock Purdy, which they most likely will, given Brock Purdy injury status and all that stuff, that he can still be the guy that they hoped he could be, And he also has that running ability that still is there. That's still going to be there. So he might be a Justin Fields, a little bit more raw because he missed the year, but he'll be all right.
So Brock Purdy has just been cleared to practice, no days off now. So Brock Purdy is back in the full swing of things.
Ooh, baby.
Right? Which they still got 3 weeks to battle it out, man.
Mm-hmm.
And to see.
Yeah, but remember, he's just coming off being cleared, so he's got a little bit of catch up to do too. So, and make sure he's in game shape too.
But it's not like Trey Lance blew our socks off.
No,
it was just good to see him
mm-hmm.
after being hurt and after being out so
long. You know
long.
who did blow our socks off? Two Glove Kenny Pickett, baby. What up, what up, what up? Kenny Two Glove Pickett, baby. And George Pickens, thank you. That's who did blow our socks off.
No.
Come on, man. What? No way that.
No.
George Pickens mossed the dude in the end zone off a great Kenny Pickett pass. He looked good with Deontay Johnson, too, on the connection, couple connections with him. It was awesome. Now, again, it's preseason, everyone, right? We all know that stats come with a grain of salt. But, man, if I'm going for late receivers, I got some faith in Kenny Pickett, and I got some faith in George Pickens and Deontay. If you're going with that hero RB strategy, you got some decent receivers, I think, later on.
I don't know if he can keep it up, man. I really don't know if he can keep it up. I mean,
yeah, the competition's going to get tougher. Don't get me wrong. This is not the toughest. These are more vanilla offenses and defenses, but for them to see that they have a timing connection, it is important. So,
that is very, very well important.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sold on Kenny Pickett, man. I'm sorry.
I'm not saying he's going to take him to the Super Bowl, but for fantasy production, man, I think he's going to get us at least one of those 1,000-yard receivers, one other guy being a 900, maybe 1,000-yard receiver. Not going to be high in the touchdowns, so you're going to want him for PPR format because they're probably going to go some shorter routes, get him in rhythm, get him comfortable, right? So he might not be always scoring TDs, but he showed that he can lob one in there if he needs to. That dime he threw to Pickens was, and Pickens went up there, he mossed the dude. So, showing that he knows how to make plays.
He ain't doing that to Sauce Gardner.
Sauce is going to be a challenge.
He's not doing that to Denzel Ward.
Oh, Denzel Ward, you can do that too.
No, he's not. He's not doing that.
Maybe Darius Slay is going to be a little bit challenging, but Darius Slay is going to end up being on Deontay, which means George Pickens is going to be out there.
Man, Deontay ain't. Oh, God, you and Deontay is. I'm not saying he's horrible.
He's not horrible.
I think Deontay leads the league in drops over like the last 2 or 3 seasons. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go do some research right now. I'm going to do some research. You go ahead. And
but he gets enough work that those drops don't even matter anymore.
Yeah, they do.
They don't even matter anymore. Hey, he didn't drop any that was of any importance this preseason, so you don't need to worry about that. And then on the other side of that game, though, Baker Mayfield looked okay with his second-string people. He might be serviceable enough to, for sure, beat out Kyle Trask. That shouldn't be a thing. I like Trask, but he's not ready for that primetime life yet. He already threw a pick right away in that preseason game. So
here we go.
Exactly. Wasted no time on that. So Baker Mayfield should have that job, and he's been serviceable enough for receivers. So I think in that, I would draft Mike Evans with enough confidence that he can get his 1,000-yard receiver, but he's probably going to be at 1,000 yards on the dot. Like, we're not going to go far over that. So
what do you feel about Chris Godwin?
Touchdowns. That's a little risky for me. I don't know if there's enough volume that's going to happen because I think they're going to want to aim at was it Rashad White, I believe it is, the running back. I think they're going to lean on the run game a lot more. I think the passes will come, but they'll come to the number one, and then I'm gonna say more like a 70 reception guy versus like a 90 guy.
Hey, you know what I didn't see
for Chris Godwin?
Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds is the backup running back in Tampa. I like Chase Edmonds.
Yeah, I like Chase Edmonds too.
I think he's very, very serviceable, and I think he's gonna be a great second down back.
I think he'll probably be he might be on the third down role even. He might be that guy. So
So I like that as well.
Yep.
So,
but the problem is, and I was hearing some talks, is what if they start shipping pieces out? Well, then what happens? That's more of a real world thing, but it can also affect fantasy, right? It's like if pieces move, then where's that? Line, running backs, whatever the case may be, go into rebuild mode. What if Mike Evans gets moved? What if Chris Godwin gets moved? What do you think about it then? But those are all just hypothetical talks.
week one, there was a lot of guys who did some very decent stuff, but these guys are all guys that we know are not gonna be those guys.
Stop it. They are going to be the guys.
No, I'm talking about guys like Drew Lock throwing for
Oh, yeah, some of those
191 and
guys,
2
yep.
TDs, David Mills out there throwing a TD. Like these guys.
Drew Lock's your boy, though.
Drew Lock is my boy.
You
I
Drew
love
Lock.
me some Drew Lock, man. I love Drew Lock, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sudfield, the quarterback for the Lions, threw 194, 2 TD. You know what I mean? Like
Man-made sound effect injections.
right? You got your boy Mason Rudolph with 132 and a TD. Like, I mean, does he beat out Trubisky? I don't think he beats Trubisky out for that second spot. But it really doesn't matter because Kenny Pickett is the number one guy. And
yeah, exactly. Everybody's just fighting for a second spot. But to that point, though, I think I would rather have Pickett than Mason Rudolph. I don't care for Mason Rudolph at all. I think he's a third string quarterback most of the time at best on any team. Pick one. Doesn't matter. Don't care if it's the worst version of the Browns. He barely makes the roster to me there. But that leads me to a question.
Of the Browns.
Yes, exactly. But that leads me to a question like, when you're drafting wide receivers, do you ever consider what their backup situation looks like?
No, because typically I draft wide receivers that can go and get it no matter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, because if I had, let's say Patrick Mahomes goes down, or let's say Josh Allen goes down, right? Like, are you trusting Kyle Allen to really hold the fort, even though the receivers are talented?
Hey, I have a really good friend that told me it doesn't matter about holding down no fort. It just matters about what they producing on that football field. This is fantasy sports, baby. I think
can those guys are those guys good enough to get you garbage time? Are they good enough to even get you some garbage? Are they that bad? Are you telling
me Stephon Diggs ain't Stephon Diggs with any quarterback? I've seen DeAndre Hopkins do it time and time.
I agree.
Again.
No, I agree with
and I think that the guys,
positions.
I think guys that are Stephon Diggs, the DK Metcalfs of the world, the DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
So let me ask you. Go ahead.
These guys are backup quarterback worthy guys that can go and get it.
So what you're saying is, like, let's say we had a Kyle Allen who's more probably close to Christian Ponder than anything. You think that him throwing the balls into the dirt? You think Stephon Diggs' skill can fix that?
I think
throwing it 3 yards short.
I think Stephon Diggs adjusts, and yes, and he's still Stephon Diggs. I don't think that Stephon Diggs.
See, now my comment was made like,
Diggs.
Yes, you might get blown out, you might have a bad team, but the people on your team are, at least for your skill positions, are at least the serviceable ones, or at least your starters, right? Like, you might be Kenny Pickett with, George Pickens and Deontay, and you might get blown out because your defense isn't top of the line. You might be losing by 50, but you still have a good quarterback, good wide receivers that can get you some work. But once that good quarterback is gone, now you got your backup quarterback out there who can barely hit 5 yards in front of him. Saying like, what are we talking about here? If Stephon's going down running a post corner or a flag route, like or a post corner or in route or whatever the case may be, who's gonna hit him? It's gonna be Christian Ponder all over dirt nap and stuff.
Oh man, I mean, you got a point, but I think that they find ways to get these guys the ball. I think they just find ways.
That actually leans into my George Pickens thing that you always hate on with Kenny Pickett. Like, these guys should be good enough to serve as quality receivers. If you have faith in the backups that can get them there, then the starters should be able to get them there.
That's true. Hey, that's true. But you also got to take this into consideration too. The Cooper Rushes of the world, the Brock Purdy's of the world. The who else came out last year and did, I mean, there's still guys like Gardner Minshew around. Backup Teddy Bridgewater somewhere doing something.
Hanging out.
Mike White, dude. Mike White lit the league on fire.
Miami now. Yep.
Backup. You got backup guys like that are very serviceable guys. Backup Jameis Winston. He gonna throw 5 interceptions, but he gonna throw 6
That's
TDs
right,
too.
but that still backs up
You
my
know what I
point. Is
mean?
yes, they are serviceable. So that means you should have faith. When I talked about this hero RB and getting these receivers later, and that should put faith in those later wide receivers. Then, so just saying.
I'm sleeping.
I'll preach it to you in the grave, man. I'm just saying.
Man, I mean, but the Taylor Heineke's, the Brock Purdy's, there's guys out here that can play.
So then to go
back
with
up.
that, and I agree with that. So to go with that, there's guys that are less known, maybe less developed, young guys or backup guys, whatever the case may be. How do you feel about the Colts with the young guy situation, Anthony Richardson? What do you think? Did you see anything on that? Would you watch anything, hear anything? What do you feel?
I didn't see much of anything, man.
Well,
I think they got their
can
mind
give you a
made
little
up.
love.
What'd you say?
I can give you a little insight and love on something. He threw a pick, but what I liked about it is he didn't stop throwing. So he did throw a pick early, which did not look good. It looked like a rookie. Like he threw a pick against the second people, man. Like it looked bad. With all that, but I loved how he bounced back. He still took a couple deep shots. Took one to Alec Pierce that could have gone either way, but it was in a good spot. But the thing is, he didn't stop. He didn't quit on that, right? He didn't just I'm scared.
But this is my thing, though, right? I think we mentioned guys like Gardner Minshew, right, who has proven to win in this league. Never been given a fair shot, and he's not going to get a fair shot here with the Colts either.
No, the label's already there.
But I think you go Gardner Minshew, man. I think it has to be Gardner Minshew. Let Anthony Richardson kind of prove himself as, learn a little bit, and then he comes. Because I'm just not sold on him being a guy of the, CJ Stroud or the Bryce Youngs or these guys that's coming in that's supposed to change the franchise right away. I don't think he's one of those Trevor Lawrence type, Justin Herbert type guy.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence even had a slow roll, but
he did. But he had so much hype, and Anthony Richardson was just like he was in a class, but he wasn't in the class. Like he's not that guy.
I look at him like how Russ was. I'm going to shout out to your boy Russ, who was well overlooked and went down as a 4th round pick, but was probably a gem that could have been slept on, not talked about enough, not appreciated enough for what he could do and what he did early on. I mean, Russ won that job straight up, right?
He did.
And he was still a little raw, but he was not Matt Flynn raw, right? So Matt Flynn, although being in the league for multiple years, came off of end of the season where he had 6 touchdown game or whatever it was.
Yeah, he went
got all the hype
for
in the
Green
world,
Bay,
and Russ supplants him just like that. You know what I'm saying? So as much as I like Minshew and what Minshew could do, he was not as accomplished as Matt Flynn, and I think Richardson can come in and at least be serviceable to the offense that's there. I think
Gardner Minshew wasn't as polished as Matt Flynn. Did you not see him take that Jags team on the run when
I saw
who went down
and
to
Matt
the
Flynn threw 5 touchdowns and learned from Aaron Rodgers and all these great things and blah 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 blah. Blah. We got all these.
Gardner Minshew has definitely been in the league a lot longer than Matt Flynn was. He has more starts than Matt Flynn had.
He definitely has more starts than Matt Flynn.
He has more. He's way more polished than Matt Flynn has ever been. Gardner Minshew, man.
Gardner Minshew got destroyed on the preseason game, and he took 3 or 4 sacks.
That's not his fault. The offensive line can't hold up. What's going to happen to your rookie quarterback that's just getting beat around out there?
No. It is the offensive line, but he also has been known to hold the ball too long, and he knows to get blown up like that. That is something that he is known to do. That's the problem with gunslingers.
He was 6 for 6 with 72 yards.
Yeah, but that doesn't tell the stats of all the stuff he ate along the way.
You talking about what he ate along the way?
He ate some cleats along the way.
I'm sure he did. Everybody else does. Everybody does.
But how many, right? It's how many cleats are you eating along the way? You can either be Andrew Luck and get destroyed, or get Jared Goff and have a great offensive line that keeps you upright, so you can have some good receiving options, right, and make the plays you need to make. So.
Oh man. Oh brother. I'm
I
not
don't.
so I'm
I
not so that Anthony Richardson just gets the job hands down, man.
They're gonna make them work, but that's the thing with everybody that's young. They're gonna make them work so they don't get the Zach Wilson entitled mentality, and you get right in there, then you're the guy, right? That's now they have to go correct that behavior and bring in Aaron Rodgers to correct such behavior. So, but I don't think Anthony Richardson's. I don't think the competition for Gardner Minshew. I don't think he's that much of a gap between Gardner and Anthony Richardson. I don't. I don't think that that Gardner Minshew is going to be a guy to come and bring you 2,000-yard receivers by the end of the year. I don't think that's any further away from Anthony Richardson being able to do.
Okay, so in 2019, for Gardner Minshew, he had 3,300 yards, 21 TDs, 6 interceptions, 33 sacks.
There we go. Just sit there eating sacks.
33 sacks. But that's decent. If you put some stuff
for
around
a backup
him,
and a miracle run.
He played 14 games after.
But why do you think they move him? That inconsistency is all over the place. Backup level.
He was injured the year after, played 9 games with 2,300 yards. 2,300 yards and 16 TDs. He got 27 sacks because he got killed a lot, but only played 9 games.
He also holds the. That's what I'm saying. Some of those sacks are because he holds the ball too long. He wants to be the big play dude, and that can sometimes kill you.
But you don't think he's learned over those years playing behind Jalen Hurts?
If he did, he probably would have still been a backup over there. They're probably like, you know what, you're serviceable enough to keep you here. But instead,
he turned that job down. He said he want to go be a starter. He don't want to be a backup.
Go be a starter for who?
The Colts.
He knew the Colts were going to draft somebody.
He did, but he has. I think he has every tool in his book to be a starting quarterback this year and to be someone's second or bench QB.
No, I say this with some love. I love Taylor Heineke, but Gardner Minshew has every tool in his book to become Taylor Heineke.
And Taylor Heineke was the bridge quarterback for the Washington Commanders for years.
Good bridge, a nice bridge. But the question is, how stable is that bridge actually?
Well,
why not? If Anthony Richardson feels confident in himself to go out and play, and maybe he's good, he's fine with learning, the hard knock way. Why waste time?
Man, you don't want to destroy the young man.
That's what I said. If he's confident and he's willing to learn the hard knock way,
I think you set him down, man. Especially Jonathan Taylor. You got all of this turmoil going on in that organization. You sit the young man down. Don't kill him.
I think you just let Jonathan Taylor move on, let him do his thing, and then got here, just let one of those young backs take over, and just learn, man. You're not gonna have a good year with the Colts. I agree. Anthony Richardson's not gonna take you to the playoff. I know that's not gonna be the case, but if you have the faith in this guy that you do, which the owner does, you let him just go out there and play, man. Let him play. Yeah, he's gonna be raw, but let him go play. Your team's gonna suck. You're already going to be in Suckville. It doesn't matter. You're not going anywhere. You might as well let him get those live reps. You know you're going to be garbage. Be like, hey, look, man, this year's going to be terrible, but we need you to develop as quickly as you can. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't do this with every quarterback, but I have enough faith in guys like that and Bryce Young that they could probably be okay doing that. I mean, they let Mac Jones do it. Like
you let Mac Jones do it, you can let anybody do it.
You let anybody else do it. You let Mac Jones do it.
Remember Bailey Zappi?
Yeah.
Remember Bailey Zappi?
Yeah, that's true.
So with this being said, just to wrap it up, who stuck out to you the most during the preseason, or what was it?
That is good. Actually, there's a few situations that stuck out to me. The one being the Steelers situation. I like where that was going. I like the Chicago situation because I think they're going to let Fields throw a little bit shorter, let the ball get out of his hands a little bit quicker, let the players make plays. I think he's got weapons there to do that with. And then I have one more. Or Jordan Love. I think he actually looked fairly decent out there with the Packers. He had overthrew a little bit for a couple spots, but I'd rather him overthrow means he's throwing with some confidence out there rather than underthrowing and being nervous.
So I would agree with you with that. I had Jordan Love as well.
Mm-hmm.
As well as the Chicago Bears. They kind of tore it up, man. They was having big plays after big plays, and then I would say I'm interested to see what these Titans do. I was very interested in Malik Willis, 189 yards, although it be against people who probably won't play. But I think he outplayed Will Levis.
Yeah, and I mean, he's got a year on him, right? We talked about that, but what does that really mean? You know, they were willing to go draft Will, so is that year difference? What's that gap actually like? So that is a very interesting situation to see because, like, that's that same thing. Where it's like, is that gap between Gardner and Anthony Richardson? What are we talking about?
Well,
you know,
these guys.
same thing.
I'm telling you, these guys right now.
And with
Will
Tannehill,
Levis,
how far is that gap? Is it really that far?
I think this is Tannehill's year, but I think one of these next 2 years, one of these guys is going to take over, and that's why I got my eyes really close on these guys right here in Tennessee between Malik Willis and Will Levis.
I think Malik's one of those guys that goes to another team. That his situation didn't work out in Tennessee, kind of one of those falter situations, but turns out to be like a Geno or something that comes back, maybe not that far down the line, but maybe a year after, maybe 2, and then just takes over a team, you know, and just like, oh, hey, remember when you forgot about me? Geno status.
Yeah. They wrote, but I didn't write back.
Exactly. So, yeah, one of those things.
Well, guys,
appreciate this,
that
man.
was fun, man.
Yeah,
talking about preseason week 1.
Getting heated.
Week 2 should have a little bit more of some guys that's actually gonna play. Get out there and do some stuff like that. But thanks for tuning in with us.
Appreciate y'all. Always.
You guys can always find us on legendary_sports podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
I am Antoine Beeks.
Yeah. Jared Michelson.
And that is it for us today, folks.
Peace.
Peace.